I said sometime last year that the Pixel Fold was probably my favorite device of 2023. I went ahead and I actually found a replacement for that here early in 2024. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go! Roll the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Sergi J in 4K. Now, as I mentioned in the intro there, the Pixel Fold was one of my favorite devices. I probably would actually call it my favorite device of 2023 that I had, just because to me it was revolutionary. I did enjoy a lot of things about it. After a while though, and I can say after a while to me was sometime in late December, early January, I did notice that the updates were coming. You know, obviously it's a Pixel device, so I mean, the updates come out monthly. I was on the beta, I was using the beta for it. But I didn't feel that the updates were actually meaningful to where it was bringing a lot of different changes for the foldable space on, for Google products. So I did went ahead and I picked up something different to replace that phone. I actually went ahead and I did trade it in. Now, while I was looking to do a trade-in on the Pixel Fold, I was considering all the other devices that have recently come out, S24 Ultra, phones like that through Samsung. The trade-in value on that phone, though, was not that good, unfortunately, through Samsung. Samsung was offering me, I want to say, $750 tops is what they offered me on that phone, which, if I remember correctly, I think it being actually like an $1,800 phone. So for them to actually only offer me $750 for basically what was almost a brand new phone, no, it's not acceptable. So Samsung, I did went ahead and I skipped that. Now, I've heard good things about the S24 series and the Ultra series, but Samsung's, I guess you could say, their software I've never been a fan of. Even when they went and switched to that One UI, still not a fan of that. So I went ahead and, because obviously the trade-in value was not there, software is definitely something I'd rather pass on. I went ahead and I skipped that altogether. I did went ahead and I found an actual good trade-in value for the Pixel Fold, and I went ahead and got the OnePlus Open. The OnePlus Open, I can tell you, with this phone retails for, I want to say, $1,600. It comes in just one variant as far as storage. It's 512 gigabytes. It comes in two colors. I went ahead and I got the black version. This pretty much here comes with like a leathery, kind of like a fake leathery back, so you get that good grip. And the other one is green, some kind of like jade, I want to say, but it's very, very faint, so it actually looks almost more of like a white, in my opinion. But they do have those two. The good thing with these, I could tell you, as far as trade-in, the trade-in was the best I found out of any carrier, any company. The trade-in that they gave me for my Pixel Fold, I want to say they gave me like $1,200. And that was with like a $100 additional bonus on that because they had like a promotion running the weekend that I ordered this. So for me, that right there is a win, just because, at that point, I'm really only losing like $600 on the other phone. And I'm only having to pay $400 or $500 out of pocket with tax for the OnePlus Open. I can tell you, I did wanted to do this video earlier, but I wanted to also wait so I can, get more experience from using this device. I've had this phone now for about 2.5, 3 weeks. And in that 2.5, 3 weeks that I've used this phone, it's been enjoyable. Mainly, I can tell you what stands out to me comparing it to the Pixel Fold is the display is really, obviously it is a little taller. I don't have the Pixel Fold anymore to compare it to, but you'll notice that this is a little taller. It's not as wide as the Pixel Fold, which to me was the best feature on that phone, was the fact that it was wider, so it still felt like a normal smartphone closed. But with this, you still have a lot of usable space. I'll go ahead and unlock it so you can see pretty much how the device looks. Still very usable. In my opinion, you can still use all the apps here. You'll notice some of the apps do tend to run a little, pretty much where it cuts off some portions on the actual outer screen. But the one thing with that is that with this, I still, obviously you're getting a foldable, not just for the outer screen, but you're also getting it for the interior screen because it's a foldable device. And obviously, Google, nobody was talking to you. So you're getting it for the interior device. One thing with the Pixel Fold that I actually noticed, I never really used the interior screen, just because that outer display was awesome. And I mean, I won't ever take that away from that phone because the outer display was great. It pretty much, that phone is what actually made me switch back to the standard size iPhone 15 Pro from the Max, just because, I wanted a smaller phone. And of course, with that allowed me to do that. And of course, with the Pixel phone, you do still have the interior, which is still nice. It still gets good color, it's still good display. But the bezels are a lot bigger than they are on this. Whereas with this, the bezels are almost non-existent. Now, you do still have a hole punch for the camera on this. So a lot of people may not be fans of that. That's one thing that the Pixel Fold did not have. It had the black bars around it. That's where they housed the camera. So, I mean, you did have that as a bit of a difference. But I prefer the interior display on this way more, simply for the fact that, again, you don't really have bezels. I mean, again, it's 2024. Bezels are kind of a thing of the past. Whereas with the Pixel Fold, it feels like it actually reintroduced the bezels. It seems like they may be changing that for the next iteration for the Pixel Fold 2. Stay tuned. We may pick that up when that drops later this year. But for now, I can tell you the inner display on this to me is way better. The colors, great representation. The nits that it goes up to get very bright. I can tell you I have put this and I've used this phone in direct sunlight. The inner display, the outer display, all of it gets very bright compared. If you're going outside, obviously with the phone, you're going to need something to where it gets very bright. I want to say the nits on this are like 2,500 nits at full brightness, which is blindingly, that's like very, very bright. The Pixel Fold didn't get that bright. And, that's one of the things that stood out to me with this display and why I ended up going with this, not just for the trade-in, but because of the features that this offers. The displays are great. The camera, let's go ahead and we'll talk about that big bad boy right there, because you see this is a very, very big camera. People who are not familiar with OnePlus that I've showed this phone to have all said the same thing. They've said that that's a massive camera, which, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. Let's be real. It really is. It's probably one of the biggest cameras that I've used or that I've had on any smartphone in a very long time. But the camera itself is actually very good. I've had OnePlus phones in the past, and the cameras haven't always been the greatest. This, of course, to me, it's not going to be the greatest one that I have for camera phones. The iPhone still, I feel, is better. But the cameras on this, I do feel, are actually better than the Pixel Fold, in my opinion. I don't have side-by-sides because, again, I got rid of the Pixel Fold already. But the cameras are good. It has higher megapixel count. The interior camera on the inner display, even though it is and you really can't see it because it's we're looking at the dark screen there. Or you can see it there kind of. But the inner camera here, even though it is in a hole punch pretty much set up, I feel that inner camera is actually better than the one that was on the Pixel Fold. The one that's on the Pixel Fold, you really don't even want to use that camera. Whereas with this one, still usable. The selfie camera, still usable. And then, of course, you do get all those 3 cameras there. The telephoto, zoom, you get the ultra wide, and then you get your standard camera. And then with this, you could tell... Let me go ahead and open the camera there. You still get the 3 different options you can use. We'll go ahead and so you just looking at primarily what matters. You get the different focal lengths there. With that, it makes it a lot easier to choose. You do get pro options where you can choose the ISO. You can choose pretty much the focus, the white balance. You can do all of that manually, which is pretty nice. It's a nice touch. Of course, I do still use manual cameras to do all that, so these phones don't really get used too much for the camera. But the camera is definitely serviceable. I can tell you, the OnePlus devices that I've had in the past, as I mentioned earlier, the cameras have never been that great. I do feel that with these series, they're finally starting to step it up. They did come out with the OnePlus 12 recently. I hear that actually has better cameras than the OnePlus Open does. Take that how you will, and that's back to flagship killer specs and price-wise again, because I want to say that phone goes for like $700, $800. So, OnePlus is definitely making great devices. The actual display, the foldable portion, you'll notice, the phone does fold all the way down, so that part is great. The OnePlus, I believe, did that as well, but it didn't actually open flat, whereas all the way without you having to actually push it down. Whereas with this one does fold all the way down. If you notice, that's completely flat there. The only thing, if you're actually laying it flat down on a table, unfortunately, that's not going to let it go all the way flat, is that big camera hump. That's going to prevent that from happening. That's to be expected with something that big, though. Let's be real. Of course, the main thing, as if you watch my previous video, that you see, my concern with a lot of phones is always battery life. The battery life on the OnePlus Open, I can tell you, has been exceptional. It has, with the battery, I can tell you I can normally charge it to 100%. It has lasted me sometimes, because again, this is my primary device, but it's lasted me like 2-3 days before I even have to consider charging it. One of the things I've always noticed with Android devices is, say I leave it uncharged at night, when I wake up the next day, it goes down like 10-15% just in battery life. With this OnePlus Open, I don't notice that happening. Now, that may be because of the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip that's in there. That may help with that as well. I do hear that those actually, the battery life did increase on Androids that use those, so that could be it. But it's great. I mean, I can tell you using it because, you think you have something with a big display like this that you have to, pretty much power up and you have to, light up. Some of the things that I view on it are very bright. You would think that that would drain the battery excessively. It doesn't really do that. Now, even if it did drain the battery excessively, one thing that this comes with that most other devices, or should I say no other device comes with nowadays, you get a charging brick in the box with it. You get the USB-C cable to go to that. That charging brick can bring this up very quickly. I can tell you I've had it like at 50%. Plug it into that charging brick, I can be at 100% within like 10, 15 minutes. It charges that quickly. So that feature is great because say, most of us, we don't always have time to sit there and wait for our phones to charge. With this, say you only have 10, 15 minutes of time, you can still get 30, 40% of battery, sometimes even more, within that time frame, and you're good to go for hours. So that's great. I've had definitely, I've enjoyed using this phone. You do get cases that come with it as well in the box. The case you do, obviously it's a foldable, so you get the one that snaps into the back, one that snaps into the front. I don't tend to use cases with these phones just because the fake leather that OnePlus put on this is actually something that really gives you good grip, in my opinion. And you also do get, believe it or not, a front screen protector on this also. Now, I don't know if this is picking up all the scratches that are on this front screen protector. So you do get one, but it's not very good. I'll say that. The screen protector, unfortunately, is not the greatest. But, I'm sure I can always peel it off, and I'm pretty sure I can always add another one, need be. But as long as it's not actually scratching the screen, it doesn't bother me. The screen protector is what's getting scratched, and that comes included. I don't have to buy that separately. A lot of these other devices, you have to buy everything separately now, which, it's so common that I'm used to it, so I don't complain anymore. But, we're paying over $1,000 for all of these devices. Why not include the things that are necessary so that you can be up and running? Obviously, I understand a lot of us have charging bricks that we've had over the years for other phones, that we've held on to. But, if they're going to at least charge $1,000, go ahead and throw one in. OnePlus, you did a great job throwing one that you threw in here, charges this thing up really quick. I do like that feature. That feature's awesome. It doesn't charge as quickly with my iPhone, which, of course, the iPhone doesn't have the quick charge like this. So that I imagine maybe Apple can change that. Maybe something that they can do hardware-wise in some of their future phones. Apple's probably not going to watch this, but if you are, just a suggestion. But yeah, I've enjoyed using this phone. It is very premium feeling, and you really can't beat the price on this. $1,600 brand new. Of course, they do always tend to run promotions as well. I think, with this past weekend, I think they had a promotion going, so it was like $200 off for $1,400. You can get this phone from OnePlus's website. You can also get it from Best Buy. And those promotions tend to run on all of those websites, so you're getting the best deal. And, if it's something that you're on the fence about a OnePlus device, just because, it is a newer company when you compare it to Apple, Samsung, and all the other big brands, I can tell you, you're getting a really good device with the OnePlus series. I don't have the OnePlus 12. If anyone, has a lot of interest in viewing a review on one of those, go ahead and let me know. Maybe we'll pick one up. Price is right on that phone. You're looking at $700-800 for a flagship spec phone, which is phenomenal. You don't see that anymore. Very rare that you see something like that happen. It's almost non-existent. But if if you're interested in stuff like that, let me know. One thing as well that I just quickly did want to mention before I wrap the video up, I did notice that a lot of, we got some subscribers on the last video, which I'm definitely grateful for. I appreciate every single one of you. But I also noticed that a lot of you watching the videos are not subscribed to the channel. So go ahead and please do me a quick favor. I would greatly appreciate it. Hit thumbs up on the video. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. Greatly appreciate it. Help the algorithm out. And of course, we do have more reviews coming later in 2024. I have a few things that I do already have planned. And if you're interested around, go ahead and stick around with me. Until then, guys, it's your boy Sergi J. Have a great rest of your day, great rest of your night whenever you're watching this. Other than that, though, I'm out.